All praises to Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Bakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. And I was just thinking about these Idumeans, man, right? And what their worst fear is going to be, and what's the main thing that's keeping them going in wanting to bring forth the wicked ass society that they plan on bringing in. And then thinking about how what's going to be one of their worst things that they're not going to be able to handle when they find themselves in captivity under our kingdom, right? And it's this is what I came to the conclusion of. It's that they are not going to be able to tell anybody what to do, right? And the reason why I came up with this is I was watching one of these videos where you have these guys that they go around filming these migrant hotels and all of these things, right? And them guys, they only do that and they only care about that kind of stuff because they found out that they can get some views on YouTube and make some money, right? If their channels became a thing where they didn't get no money from views and all of that, and they didn't find themselves being able to make money, a lot of them wouldn't do it anymore, right? If there wasn't no money in it, they wouldn't do it. They're not no social justice warriors. They don't really care, right? They're just about trying to make some money from it, man. That's what it really is about. But the guy was talking to these people, trying to talk to these people, and they was just ignoring them, which is their right to do. And he was getting aggravated and annoyed by it, as if they have to speak to him. And then he's talking all of this, oh, how are you going to integrate? How are you going to integrate? And I'm thinking, mate, it's not normal behavior to just go up to somebody or just be recording somebody in the street in public and then just start speaking to them. That's not normal behavior. I don't care how many YouTubers there is in the world. That's not normal, right? Because when you're just walking, the majority of people that you see in the city are not doing that, right? But this guy really couldn't handle that he wasn't able to try and record the people and get a reaction out of it. He loved when he was able to get a reaction out of people, right? But then when he was recording people and they were just ignoring him, acting like he don't even exist, then he was getting annoyed and verbally vocalized that he's annoyed. And that just let me know that Esau is really going to hate in the kingdom when he cannot tell people what to do, man. He's gonna hate it. He's gonna hate that people are not gonna have to listen to his stupid voice say anything. People ain't gonna have to listen to his bullshit facts, his fake facts that he's made seem true when they're not, his fake statistics that he's made up by staging statistics and making out like things are true, by including certain data in the statistics and not including certain data in the statistics, by only trying to go to certain areas to collect the data for the statistics. He's really going to hate, right? He's going to really hate that he cannot tell anyone what to do, man. In the kingdom, he's going to hate it. He's going to hate that, man. Sirach chapter 10 and verse 30. The poor man is honored for his skill and the rich man is honored for his riches. The only reason why anybody does even listen to anything that Esau's got to say right now is because there might be some money in it for them. It's not because he's a good person. It's not because he's generally got good ideas. It's because they know that he's got the power of the sword. He's got the heaviest military on the earth, and you might be able to get some money from dealing with him and stomaching the stupid stuff that comes out of their mouth. That's the only reason. There ain't no other reason why, and they know this. And that's why they'll make statements when they go on holiday about how this country needs them for tourism or for this or for that. But if the country didn't need you for tourism, when you go over there trying to do that lads night out, Jody Shore kind of lifestyle, that Jersey Shore, that alcoholism, that ladette, lady to ladette kind of stuff where you're just drunk in a binge drinking spirit, you get tombstone power drive on your head when you go over there acting a fool in people's countries, man. And then another thing about, especially these people over here in the UK, that they've run their mouth about immigration, this immigration, that. You people in the UK are some of the worst people when it comes to going over to other people's countries, man. Whenever you talk to somebody else from another country, you don't try and learn a few phrases of language to try and speak to them. You talk in some broken English. You wishy-washy me plate. Taxi driver, can you drivey, vroom, vroom, me to hotel. You don't try and learn this language. But you always want everyone to learn your language, man. But you don't go around learning their languages. You don't. You're talking broken English. And there's brothers over here in the UK all over in this Hebrew Israelite thing that they go into how you Edomites can't even barely read and write your own self. Yet you're talking about people not being able to speak English. You can't even speak it properly. Your own self, man. A lot of you Edomites, your own children, they can't read, man. A lot of y'all Edomites children in primary school right now, they can't read and write. They might be 8 or 10 years old and they read worse than a 5-year-old, man. Yet y'all are running your mouth trying to act like you're the highest IQ and this and that. No, you're not. You're dumb. Yeah, you're dumb. Don't try and act like people don't know people. Don't try and act like none of our family members are teachers, might be teachers or work in the educational fields. You're dumb. Yeah, don't play around. We know y'all people, man. We know people that are into these different things, right? And we've seen you on jobs that we've been on, and we've seen you in school, in the school system in the UK. We've seen you in the university system, the college systems. You're dumb. Yeah, y'all ain't nowhere near as smart as you try and make out. All this high IQ stuff. I've seen and I've studied what the IQ test is about. It's really a memory based thing. The IQ test, as you all try and make it out, it's not a true sign of intelligence. It's about memorizing patterns and sequences. And if you've done the IQ test a few times, eventually you could stage it, man. You could, if you've had it and had enough tries of it, right? And then you say, okay, I'm gonna try an IQ test to prove how smart I am. If you've did it enough times, right, you can end up getting a way better result than you did the first time you tried it. But if it was really just a random test that you just do and it shows how smart you are, right, then no matter how many times you try and do it, it's always going to be the same results, right? Because you're naturally just that low IQ. But it's a thing that you can really, I remember this question. I remember this particular shape sequence. Okay, it's this answer. Oh, I remember this answer sequence from before when I tried it, the 12th time I tried it. Oh, it's this answer. And then now your results, is your IQ going to seem higher? Yeah, they are. It's not a true show of intelligence, man. And when I looked it up, if I'm not mistaken, the IQ test came around in the year like 1902 or 1905. So how did people decide that they was intelligent before this IQ test came around then? If it's a true show of intelligence, how? The average Edomite that talks all this IQ test stuff and talks about people being a high IQ or low IQ, if you ask them if they've did an IQ test, the answer is going to be no. Because the reason why they think they've got a high IQ and somebody else has got a low IQ is because of their skin color. They think that them having a pale red skin tone means that they've got a higher IQ than anyone that's got brown skin. Because if they were so smart and had such a high intelligence rating, right? Well then, okay, you're smart, right? And your IQ is high, right? How comes you still haven't figured out that these people that you're running around calling black, their skin's actually brown? And how comes you haven't figured out that you're in fact Edomites, man? You're not white and your skin's not white. You're actually different shades of red. And some of y'all have got a real heavy red hue, man. How come you ain't figured that out in all your wisdom and knowledge? Verse 31, he that is honored in poverty, how much more in riches? And he that is dishonorable in riches, how much more in poverty? And you Edomites have been dishonorable in riches. You haven't been good people, even though you've got all the opportunities in the world. You're complaining that somebody's coming over from another country and stealing your opportunities. No, they're not, man. No, they're not. You stole their opportunities. And that's why the lifestyle that they want to have, they can only get it in your country because your people stole opportunities from everyone else. Your countries and your people went over in everyone else's societies, stealing the best of their people and making them help build up your society, man. You've made it so that the world's like this. And let me get a scripture on that. Y'all are Christians. Y'all will claim Christianity, right? It's England's a Christian country, mate. Y'all will say that, right? It's a Christian country, mate. All right, well, pull out your Bible then, man. If you can find one in your house. Do you even have one? Or do you so-called Christian country people still actually believe that Christmas that y'all follow is actually in the Bible when it's not? Right? You can't find December 25th in the Bible and a ceremony where people are putting a tree and it be something that's righteous. You can find it, and it's something that was told not to do in Jeremiah the 10th chapter, but you can't find it, and it's something that you're supposed to do. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. They also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Now, part of the transgressive by wine, you Edomites are so sick in your head, right, that you'll think that you've achieved something. If a woman that's, let's say, a Muslim, and I don't really give two bleeps about none of these different people outside of my people, man, I could really care less. But you Edomites are so sick in your head that you're trying to make out like you've somehow achieved something. If a woman goes from not wearing a hijab and being covered up, right, and having modest apparel, and let's say you want to say, okay, but I can't even see her face, mate. Okay, let's say she had her head covered and had a long garment on so that you can't see what her body looks like, really. Right? Her chest isn't out, her legs ain't out, right? And she ain't complaining about how hot she is. She's wearing a thin material that she's not hot, right? It's a nice fabric, it's an expensive fabric, and she ain't sweating when it's in the summer. She ain't cold when it's in the winter. She's wearing something that covers her up because she just wants her husband to know what her body looks like. Let's say she's doing that, right? You Edomites would make up like you've achieved something. If now she comes over to the UK and she so-called integrates, and now she doesn't have her head covered, right? She's got her tits hanging out, right? She's got her damn flaps damn near. Hey, Salakia, but I'm gonna have to get graphic right now. She's damn near got her flaps hanging out. If she bends over 1 millimeter forward to pick something up off the ground, right? She got her whole legs and battery crease hanging out. You'll be like, yeah, mate, she's integrated. She's one of us now, mate. Are you gonna make her like she's one of you now? Because she's dressed like a complete tart? Is that now an achievement now? That a woman's went from not being covered up and so that only her husband can see what her body looks like to now everyone can see what her body looks like. Is that an achievement? Is that now an achievement then? Is it? Is that something that should be glorified now? That she's not doing that? Or okay, a person goes from not now doing whatever their religious ceremonies were to now every single December on the 25th, now they put a tree in their house, right? And pretend that a Edomite, a white man, a so-called white man, wears red clothes, yeah, and flies around the whole earth with reindeers on the 25th, on the 24th of December, excuse me, and has all the things delivered by the 25th. I think if that was the case, the owner of Amazon would take on that same delivery system, don't you? Amazon Prime don't even get your delivery sent to you next day, sometime when you order that service, man. So how the hell is somebody else? You think that that would be Jeff Bezos' competition, nah? Wouldn't Amazon be competing with those guys? But y'all will teach your children that. But then you'll try and make out like it's offensive to teach about God. But you're teaching your children that it's okay to believe that a man's going around the whole earth delivering packages and there's a good and a bad list. But what decides if you're on a good or a bad list or not? What decides, man? Some of you people don't even care to read and like that with your children, man. You don't care. But you're talking all this, how do you integrate and all that, mate? Y'all are lost. You're lost. They're lost, man. But let's carry on. Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who would lord of his desire as hell, and is as deaf. Y'all are as deaf, man. When you go to other people's countries, don't try and make it like you're just trying to learn the culture. You're going over there, doing people over, man. You Edomites and you rugby kind of mans, you start getting a few beverages down you, and you say, I could love a scrap, mate. I've seen you, I've been around you kind of people, man. I've seen them kind of rugby kind of clowns. And a lot of them are closeted too, man. And I wasn't on no rugby team, neither, in case anyone's trying to come in that. I weren't on no rugby team, man. But I've been and seen what those kind of people are like, and they're not righteous. They're weirdos. Right? They're weird, man. But they try and go on like they're righteous. They ain't righteous, bro. They look for fights. They start getting drunk and they go around looking to have fights with people, man. Just like the football mans do as well. They get a few Carlsbergs down them, right? A few tequilas down them, a few voddy and cokes, yeah? Vod cranberry, right? a few Copperbergs, few Strongbowls down them, and they start losing the plot, man. They're not righteous. But is that the English culture? So you want people that are Muslims, Africans, Iranians, Turkish, Moroccans to come over now and binge drink? Is that what the culture would be? And their women come over and start dressing like harlots, getting drunk, taking their heels off, and putting them over their shoulder, and walking on the street singing. Would that be the culture? Is that the culture that y'all are talking about? Is that the culture? Because if you ask me, when they're coming over to countries that they're not wanted, that is them actually copying the culture of your people. Because when you went over to America, what paperwork did you have? I'll wait for the answer. They didn't have any. Yeah, what paperwork did you have? But now you think that you can say, oh, okay, now you need paperwork. But back then, you never had no paperwork. So if back then they would have said, you ain't got no paperwork to be over here, bounce, what would y'all have said? Would y'all have been like, you know what, fair play, mate, you're right. We ain't got no paperwork. All right, lads, let's take these boats and let's go back. Or would you have said, you know what, we'll fight you for it then? Did you leave when you wasn't wanted it, or did you fight and kill and steal that land from the people? What did you do? So really you're complaining because they are doing exactly what you did. Really your complaint is because they are following your culture. Your culture is stealing. And I'm reading it right now. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Y'all ain't polite and righteous when you go over to people's countries. You asshole. I've seen you. I've seen what y'all do when you go over to other people's countries, man. You start talking in that broken English, just assuming that they can't speak to you. And if you see anyone with brown skin in the hotel, you assume they work there. I've had that happen to me when I was on holiday before, way back, like a long time ago. And the person tried to assume that I worked at the hotel, that I'm part of the staff, trying to ask me to do things for him. I just looked at him like, motherfucker, who the fuck you talking to? You know what I mean? So don't try and make it like you people are just righteous. Y'all ain't righteous, man. You see someone with brown skin and you just assume that they're supposed to bow down and work and do things for you. Fuck you. Yeah, y'all ain't who y'all think you are, man. And your worst nightmare is going to be that when you find yourselves in a position where you can't tell nobody what to do, that's going to be their worst nightmare for all you people that believe in the Bible. That's going to be these Edomites' worst nightmare when they cannot no longer tell anybody on this earth what to do. They're going to find themselves in a situation where nobody wants to listen to them, but more importantly, nobody has to listen to them. Because right now, they're already finding themselves in a situation where nobody wants to listen to them, right? This is why they're so grieved and trying to make out like it was somebody else that done Mr. CK in, when it was them that done him in. They like, yo, I've saw so much information about that thing, man. And it doesn't matter which of the stories is true. It don't even matter at this point. I must just say it like this. Whatever situation is true, they lined his ass up, man. Either way it goes, if it's real, they lined him up. And if it's not real, they lined everyone else that's falling for it up. Either way it goes, man. And there's people I've heard people say, like, it might have been a thing where it was supposed to be not real, but then it was just like, you know what, let's just really do it. What's the point? Not. And that works too, but it doesn't really matter which story is true. Either way, the result that they wanted from it has happened. They've turned their fool into an idol, right? And they've got whatever they wanted to get out of it, man. But these Edomites, like I said, they've found themselves in a position now on this earth where nobody wants to listen to them, right? But they still have to listen to them, right? They don't want to listen to E no more, and that's why you've got things like BRICS. People that are trying to go their own way and do things outside of E. Even though the BRICS thing just still has members of E in there anyway with the Russians, right? But they're different. They're a different kind of E. They're still E though, so let's not make no mistake. But they're a different kind of E though. They're different. Let me carry on verse 5. And cannot be satisfied. Y'all ain't satisfied. Y'all are never satisfied, man. You're always trying to make more and more oppressive ways to screw people over. And you've been doing it continually to our people. You complain that we don't have this and we don't have that, but people have did the studies and looked into all the cities in America that we had where we was building ourselves up, and you got jealous and envious and destroyed every single one of them, all of them. Even right now, when this current presidency that's in America was taking place, they was focusing on how China's not allowed to do this and China's not allowed to do that, and they was making China their enemy and making the whole thing be about how we need to compete with them. Why are you worrying about them for? Worry about yourself, man. Just compete with talent. Y'all claim merit based, right? But it's really violence based. That's what it really is. That's what y'all really are about, man. Antagonizing people, then playing the victim. And it's shown on a small scale with these clown people like these auditors and these YouTubers that just go around real life streaming and recording people and all that, and they just go up to people with a camera all in their face saying hello, and as if people are supposed to care about you and your YouTube channel, man. These are real people just minding their business, going about their day, and you're getting offended that they don't want to talk to you. They don't have to. They don't have to speak to you. And that's what you Edomites are not going to handle when people do not no longer have to speak to you. It's going to be not no, when they no longer want to speak to you, or when they especially when they no longer have to. Because right now nobody wants to deal with you Edomites, but they're still finding themselves in a position where they have to because there's certain financial links and obligations that they have with you, but they don't want to have to deal with you anymore. And that's why people are trying to find alternative ways. And because you Edomites understand this, you're going to bring what you've always brought: war. Right? Verse 6, shall not these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, saying, warn him that increase of that which is not his, how long, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, the thick debt that y'all have covered yourselves in, man. You've covered yourself in debt, trying to make out like y'all are something special, and you're not. Verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. And y'all, I was just saying it, y'all have spoiled many nations on this earth, and then you're complaining that now there's hardly anywhere to live. So people try and come and live where you are. Because y'all ain't going to destroy the places where they are, where you are, I mean. How you destroy the places where they are? Because how you destroy the places where they are is y'all will drop things that produce fire when you are from the sky, man. Y'all will drop bombs on them when it's places that you ain't. But when it's a place that you are, you ain't going to do that though, are you? So of course they're going to try and go close to you so that they can keep their eye on you and so that they can escape danger and harm. If you didn't want them to do that, you should have never went over there then. You should have never touched those people. You should have just always stayed there in your own land, man. But you didn't do that though, did you? And people will say, when they hear somebody like me saying that, oh, if you don't like it, go back to Africa, mate. As if I was to go over to Africa, where they suppose that I'm from, where I'm not. We're really, as so-called African Americans, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, Latinos and Native Americans, we're really from Israel. The man first, then the land, right? But they'll say go back to Africa, as if you was to go back to Africa, you wouldn't see none of them there. You'd see them there too. They're everywhere. And if there's plenty of countries that they claim are theirs now, but wasn't theirs before, America being one of them, right? Australia, that's just two to quickly name. And there's plenty more. And then these people will claim Christian country. Okay, did you start in England from the Bible times? No, you didn't. So that's the end of the debate then. Verse 9. In fact, verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And that's the reason why you go around the whole earth trying to steal everything from everyone, because you've initially started stealing, right? And then now you know that you deserve judgment for the theft and the stealing that you do. But rather than pay the piper, right, and actually have to deal with and take accountability for the first thefts that you did, you've had to steal more, produce more weapons, more military might, to try and defend yourself against the judgment that is continually chasing you. You've had to do that. So you put the African Americans, let's say, for example, into slavery. You stole the land of the land of America from the Native Americans, but now you know that a judgment is deserved for that. So then, rather than face the judgment, you've been like, you know what? In order for us to not have to get judged for that, what we did, we're gonna have to be even more grimy to these people now. So now we're gonna have to make systematic plans to always make sure that these people can never get up to a certain level. Because if they ever do, we know that we deserve judgment. We know that they deserve that they would be in their right mind to want us to have to go through what we put them through. Right? Y'all are never going to be able to ever escape that. That is what's deserved for you as a nation. Forget, I ain't trying to hear none of this individual, no, only 1% this, only this and that. I never owned one. You never wasn't one. I ain't trying to hear none of that. You know that you deserve this. That don't mean you're going to want to have to go for it, but you know it would be deserved. Right? You know that. And the proof that you know it is that whenever you see anybody else do a crime or anything wrong from one nation, you blame the whole nation. So you understand blaming the whole nation for one person's wrong or for a few persons wrong when it's not your nation. So then if you understand it then you also understand that that's the case for you as well. You just don't want to admit it. You want to try and pretend like it's something different, but it's not though, right? Verse 10, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people and hast sinned against thy soul. And they did a whole bunch of grimy stuff, right? Book breaking, which is really just RAPE of men. They did that. They did that to cause, because they're naturally just GAY for starters, and alphabeters and rainbowers, right? But to also try and get another result out of it, which is to put fear among the slaves that they had, fear among the people that they had held captive, that they stole from their own lands or from the lands that they were living in at the time. And they did that to try and instill fear in those people because they were scared that they deserved judgment for the initial taking of those people. So in order to try and be like, okay, we can't have these people rise up, let's do this to them. Obviously because they wanted to do that anyway, because they're naturally like that, right? But also to try and get another result out of it, that this is going to scare them to ever want to rise up against us. But guess what? We still want to rise up against you, even after all the hundreds of years later that's took place from. We still want to rise up against you, man. And eventually you're going to have to pay for all of those things that you did in the past. All of them works. You're still going to have to pay for them. It still hasn't made us be like, you know what? Let's bargain to bargain. Now that's just another wickedness that you added onto yourself. You added that onto your own soul. That's a thing that your nation did, no matter how much you ever try and talk anything about any other people, right? And try and talk about it's a Christian country, mate. Where does it say that you're supposed to do that in the Bible? Where does it say that book breaking is allowed in the Bible to do to your slave? Where does it say that? Because it does allow slavery in the Bible, but where does it say that you can do that to them? Where does it say that? Doesn't it say Leviticus 20 and 13, you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff to anyone? Doesn't it say that? So you're done, man. You guys are done for, right? And all the extra works you've had to do to try and escape from this captivity. One of the works that you're getting ready to do is this whole MOTB micro CHIP thing, which that's really the main reason for them doing this, is to try and put people in a continuous servitude and a system where now they cannot rebel. That's the overall plan. That you can't rebel, and you could never try and ever get me in a position that I deserve to be in, which is to be captive my own self, because I've got you as a captive. So now because I've continually got you as a captive, you can't ever put me in captivity that I deserve for what I did to you. That's the position that Esau's found himself in. He's did so much, but in order to now escape the much that he's did, he's got to do more. And the more he does, the more he's going to deserve, to the point where, you know what? Obadiah 1 and 18 is the only thing that can be done to rid him of what he deserves. Right? Everything that he's doing is just making the Obadiah 1 and 18 prophecy us understand it more and more and more. I understand why. I understand why all of the whole nation deserve Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18, because they're all guilty. None of them are really against all these wicked works. If they found themselves in a situation where the men of our nation were getting book broken again, but they can get a 6-figure salary now and have a good life in the UK or in America or in Sweden or anywhere in the earth, right? You think they'd care? That's happening to us? No, they wouldn't care, because they didn't care back then when it was happening. So they wouldn't care now either. You understand? They wouldn't care, man. Doing gross things. I found out about something called the Derby dose the other day. Look that up. See what disgusting stuff that is. And I'll say what it was, man. They'd have one captive slave Israelite do a number 2 in another Israelite's mouth. That's what they were doing to us, man. That's what they were doing. So don't try and act like y'all are righteous people, man, because you're not. And you same Edomites alive now will do that same stuff now, because you already do weird things to each other among your own people. You talk all this about immigrants this, immigrants that, and try and talk as though if every single person that you claim you want out was to just leave and go back to their own countries, as if you would actually just really not bother and go over to their lands anymore. You'd still go over there, man. You wouldn't be able to help yourself but to go and bother them. You wouldn't just stay in England or just stay in America or just stay in wherever you claims now your countries and your lands. You wouldn't just stay there and leave the people alone. You would not do that. You would never do it, because you're not like that. I've read it already. You heap it from Gareth onto yourself, all people. You're always bothering somebody, man. Always. Right? Let's carry on. Verse 12, woe unto him that buildeth a town with blood and stabbeth a city by iniquity. They do that. Right? They've done it, man. Behold, is it not of Yahweh of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh, as waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor to drink, that putteth his bottle to him and make him drunken also. And that's what they try and do. They try and make it like women are being oppressed because they're covering up their body. Any man that's actually of any worth, right, doesn't want his woman walking down the street dressed like a hoe. Let's just say it plainly, man. They don't want their woman walking down the street like that, because they know that other men are going to be watching, and it's going to potentially cause a situation that it shouldn't cause, man. It's potentially going to put the woman's life in danger and the man's life in danger. And the man can't even will kind of feel stupid even saying anything to defend his woman for dressing as if a man makes a comment on how she's dressed, because really, what's she dressing like that for anyway? And as much as a man might, when he sees a woman and she's dressed like in a way where she's showing her body, as much as he might look and be like, oh man, she looks good, right? But then he's also going to think in the back of his mind, but man, if that was my woman, I wouldn't want her walking down the streets like that. And if I was to get with that woman, so you're telling me she's going to be walking around the streets like that when she's just by herself, then that's a hoe. Right? Straight up. But you Edomites, you don't think that. It's part of you Edomites thing where you actually like for somebody to do that. It's sick in the head, man. It's sick. Y'all are sick in the head. Right? Verse 15, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor to drink, that putteth that bottle to him and make him drunk also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. That's what y'all like to do. You like to go over and try and pretend like your culture is the way of being, and then justify how wicked you are. And that's why in this whole Hollywood movie industry, films, sports, anything that is in this whole Hollywood thing, anything that's in this whole fame world where people are trying to become a celebrity, right? And even when people are just trying to get a regular job and a promotion and a regular job, you always make the people have to be weirdos like you're a weirdo, so that you can be like, see, everyone would do this kind of stuff, and you can laugh and look at their nakedness. And that's why you Edomites like spiking drinks. You like trying to get people drunk and then recording them and doing weird things to them when they're drunk, man. That's what you Edomites are like. When you Edomites get drunk and they get around each other, you be weirdos, and you all know it, man. You sick old Edomites in your school system, in your boarding schools and all that, playing soggy biscuit and all that. You dodgy guys, man. Playing soggy biscuit with each other. And if you don't know what that is, If you decide you want to look it up, that's up to you. But I wouldn't recommend it, man. But these Edomites are dodgy. Yeah? A dodgy, sick in the head nation. Talking up like there's some good people and they're dodgy. They're sick in the head, man. Real sickos. Verse 16, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shame for spewing on thy glory. And that's what's happening right now in this video. No matter how much you try and talk about, we've built up great cracking architecture. Yeah, okay. And there'll be a 6'5" person of your nation or of another nation that now believes that it's okay for them as a man to be walking on the streets wearing a dress. As much as you Edomites can talk about this, it's a Christian country. If I was to ask you, okay, it's a Christian country, right? And you'd be like, yep, it's a Christian country, mate. We love Christ. Okay, you love Christ, yeah? You love this so-called Christ character that y'all claim y'all believe in, right? You love the Messiah of the Bible, yeah? You love him. Yeah, love him, mate. Love a baby Jesus. Okay. Are you supposed to be a LGBT free PT person, alphabeting and rainbowing up the scene? According to the Bible. Oh, but Bible times, that was in Bible times, mate. That was in, okay. Oh, so you don't believe in it then? Oh, I see. So you don't believe in it, right? Oh, I get it now. So you're full of it then. That's what you're telling me, yeah? You're full of it. Oh, you should have just said that to begin with. Should have just said that to begin with, man. Because no matter how much y'all talk, you don't believe in the Bible, man. Like, you don't. Just be real with yourself. You don't love God. You don't believe in the Bible. That's not your thing, man. You believe in the other thing. You know what I mean? Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they really believe in God to the point where they are actually the nation of people that will be the most likely to still say now to this day, which is not true what I'm going to say, but they'll say it don't matter what color Jesus is. That's how they'll say it. They'll say it don't matter what color the Messiah is. And they'll really mean that when they're saying that, right? It does matter what color he is though, because if it didn't, you guys wouldn't have lied about it. But they'll actually be the main people that don't believe and will believe in it. Some of them are so lost that they'll believe in him more because they think he doesn't look like them. That's how lost some of them are. But you don't believe in him no matter what color he is, but you'd rather not believe in him, but him be your color because you're sick in the head. And rather than admit that you're sick in the head, you try and make it like everybody else is sick in the head. But no, the scope's on you. You're sick in the head, right? The scope's on you guys, man. You're the problems with you, right? You've got some things that you need to work on yourself, man. You got all this to say about us, and we'll point out the things that our people do. The women of our nation, they're ratchet. Okay, the men of our nation, the young men need to pick their pants up. They need to do this. They need to do that. Okay, they need to stop unaliving each other in the streets. Yeah, okay, I'll agree. I agree. But what do your people need to work on? You come with all this. We don't hate so-called black people. We just hate N-words. Okay. Well, when are you gonna point out the bad of your people then? Since you like to try and divide everybody else's nation and say it's not just you, it's just the bad ones we don't like. Okay. But when are you gonna point out the bad ones of your own people though? When are you gonna do that? Because you vote the bad one, you vote for the bad ones, your own self. You vote for them. Just the fact that you take part in the voting thing for people that you didn't pick the choice of who you're going to vote for shows y'all are clowns. Y'all ain't really switched on and truthers and people that are just speaking about what's really going on now. Y'all don't know nothing. Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all are lost. Y'all don't know what's going on, man. Y'all don't have a clue. And your worst nightmare is when you're going to find yourself in a position where you can no longer tell people what to do. You're going to hate it. Right? Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 3, and it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Now, I was thinking this, man, right? And I was thinking this today, and this is for Israelites that hear this, man, that might have made it to this far in the video, if they stomached it, right? If they was able to listen this far, I don't know people's patience, man, or whatever. But I was thinking this. that I miss Jerusalem, man. I was thinking, man, I miss Jerusalem, man, because I can like, and I was just thinking, man, that's what all of us Hebrew Israelites are really thinking about, man, in our spirit, that we miss Israel, man. We miss being there, right? We really want to be back there, man, because our spirit is connected to that place. We really miss being there, man. We really miss Jerusalem. We miss Gideon, right? We miss Ephraim. We miss all those places, man. We miss all those places of our land, man. We miss that place, and our spirits connected them, and we miss our real homeland, right? We miss our land, man, and we're angry that our land is right now being inhabited by imposters. And rather than people that actually admit that we're telling the truth, they're spreading more and more lies because they know that they've picked up a tab that they are not prepared to pay the price for. The price was already too high from the first offense that they did. But after the second, third, fourth, thousandth, 144,000th, 2 millionth offense, now the price that they have to pay for all the things that they've did, they're like, man, I'm not prepared to pay this price. I am not prepared. I'm prepared to blame anyone. I'm prepared to destroy the whole earth if need be, then pay that price. I'm prepared to betray and backstab 90% of my own nation before I pay that price. That's what they think. They are not prepared to pay the price that they owe. They are not prepared to. They'd rather put the whole earth under digital captivity than pay the price that they owe for what they did to us, man. They are not prepared to pay. They're going to have to pay, but they are not prepared to pay. Right? And we're going to be given rest and from sorrow from you people. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. We're going to say that to them. How have you no longer able to oppress anyone? And have you seen Babylon? Have you seen Babylon the Great? It's a wasteland. No one ain't going to ever live there again. We're going to be saying that to the Edomites that remain. We're going to be talking to them about it, man. They like to always go up to people with cameras nowadays and want to talk about interviews and all that. I want to interrogate people about what they're doing over here, what they're doing over there. We're going to be talking with and having interviews with you in that time. Okay, so you're not the Edomites. That's what you all said, right? And you said we're not the Israelites. Well, have you seen us? Look how I used to be 5'8". I used to be 5'9". I used to be 6'2". I used to be 5'7". I used to be 5'5". Look at me now. I'm 9'7". I'm 9'7". I used to be bold. I couldn't even grow a hair. Look at me now. I got my hair looks like a lion's mane. My hair and my beard together looks like a lion's mane. What? Explain how this happened. Explain how we went from being mortal. I used to have plenty of health problems. Explain how all my health problems are healed. I'm immortal. I never used to be able to fly. Explain how all of the nation of my people can fly now, and how you cannot. Explain why we're immortal gods on earth, and how you are mortal still. If we're not the Israelites, explain these things. Use your high IQ and explain all of this. Here, let's see what explanation you've got. Here's a Bible. Show me a Bible verse that explains where this was going to happen for us, since we're not the Israelites, right? Show it. Since you're the real Israelites and we're actually Canaanites, that's what the Gadites are going to be saying to you, the Native Americans. Be like, okay, you said we're not you once upon a time lied and said that we're actually Canaan. You said that we're Israelites, but then you said that actually now they're not, they're Canaanites. You stole our country and said that you're the Israelites taking over Canaan because we're pagans. Well, explain why we are now 9 foot tall, right? Can fly, can do all these works. Our average height is 7 foot plus. Our lifespans are never going to end. Explain why this is happening to us. Since we're savages, explain why we're all speaking Hebrew now, and we're in our own land. Explain how this has happened, oh wise one. And you're not going to have the answers. The only answer is going to be this, right? This is going to be the only explanation that y'all are going to be able to give, right? Let's get the precept, man. Let me pull a precept. Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 14. Thus saith Yahweh, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians, men of stature shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee. In chains shall they come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely Yahweh is in thee, and there is none else. There is no power. That's the only explanation that all you people are going to have, including you Edomites. The only explanation that you're going to have as to how men that used to be below 6 feet, men that used to be just 6 foot, I was only 6'5" back in the day. That's what some of these guys are going to be saying. I used to be only 6'5". That's going to be our only thing. I was only 6'8" back in the day. I was only 6'3". I was only 5'9". I was only 5'5" back in the day. But now I'm 9'9". Explain how that happened. Explain how a so-called black man, where black people, according to what your stories were savages and apes. Explain how a so-called black man with a beautiful head of white woolly hair and a beautiful, amazing white woolly beard, and his beard and his hair combined look like a lion's mane. Explain how he came to the earth one day, roared like a lion during the midst of World War III, right? That caused for all the other nations in the world to come and fight up against him in battle. They all came. He saw them. He conquered them all, defeated, wiped the floor with all of them, saved all of his people that was going to be destroyed in the land of America, took them up into a big UFO, changed them with whatever he did, where he took them into that UFO and he changed them, and they went up into the sky looking one way, came down looking a complete another way, wiped the floor with the rest of the nations that was still there. And now we're all here as a nation like this. Explain how that happened. Explain it. That's what you're going to have to answer. We're going to be wanting to know the answers. Explain this. And all the other people on the earth are going to know the answer. And you're going to know the answer. You ain't going to be able to explain that away. And this is good. What I've said, you can laugh about it all you want. It's going to happen. The elites of your people, they know it's going to happen. And that's why they're doing all these things that they're doing. They're making bunkers. They're planning a way to escape. What's your way as you regular civilians? What are you going to do? And the worst nightmare for you Edomites is that you're not going to be able to tell anybody what to do. Verse 15, verily thou art a power that hideth thyself, O power of Israel the Savior. They're going to know that Yahweh exists somewhere in creation, and he's hid himself from the earth, because they're going to see his son, Yahweh Shai, that looks like him. And they're going to know, okay, well, this is what Yahweh looks like. And this God is powerful. This Yahweh Shai is powerful. But he ain't even, like, he got made. This Yahweh Shai that we're seeing, that came to the earth and overtook the whole earth in 1 hour. He conquered the whole earth and changed who's ruling it in 1 hour. You can't even watch it, whatever your favorite movie is on this earth, you can't even finish that in 1 hour. You can't study a degree in 1 hour. You can't even probably get a first aid certificate in 1 hour. You know what I mean? There's not really any qualification on this earth you can get in 1 hour. Like, you can't even really complete that much of you can complete a bit of a good workout in 1 hour, but it's not going to make you be fit completely in 1 hour. You're going to have to do plenty. Like, there's not much you can do in 1 hour in this earth, right? There's not really too many amazing things that can be achieved in 1 hour yet. Yahweh Shai is going to overtake the whole earth in 1 hour. America's getting destroyed in 1 hour. Yahweh Shai is going to show his presence in that time. He's going to show his presence in that time. In that 1 hour of America being destroyed, Yahweh Shai is going to show himself to the world. And he's going to as soon as he shows himself onto the earth's his. He's overtook it. He controls it now. The moment that the earth sees Yahweh Shai, it's now his kingdom. From that very first moment, it's not going to be, Yahweh Shai was losing and then he kind of fought back and won. No, he's going to be winning from the moment he shows up. And that's what you Edomites are running from. You've been running from this ass. You've been running from this ass. You know, I'm going to say it, man. You've been running from this ass whooping for a long time, man. You've been a fugitive for a long time, and you're not going to be able to escape it. And you're going to find yourself on earth one day, not being able to tell anybody what to do. And it's going to be your worst nightmare. Because already you Edomites have found yourself in a position where nobody wants to listen to you. but they still need to, right? But they don't want to anymore. Before in the past, they wanted to, but now they don't want to, but they still need to in certain situations, man. But there's going to come a time where they don't want to and they don't need to anymore because they're going to be listening to the Israelites, which they're going to want to do willingly, right? And let's get the scripture on that. And that's the difference between us and Esau, man. They're going to willingly want to listen to us. Now, if they decide that they want to try and go against it, well, that would be foolish because the society is going to be set up so beautifully that it would be pointless to refuse. And the earth is going to be proven that the earth's ours. With what Yahweh Shai is getting ready to do, it's going to be proven that we're the only people that's supposed to rule. We're the only people that's supposed to. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. That's what's going to keep us in our position of power. The laws of Yahweh that we're going to have implemented throughout our whole nation permanently as a inherited position, right? As a birth given right through the new covenant, man. Our nation's children are going to be born with the laws written in their mind. That's going to be a precocial, I don't even know what the word to use, because I know precocial is for when you're born being able to walk. But that's the kind of word that I'm looking for. It's going to be like a given thing among the Israelites, man. They're born with legs, just like how a human is born with legs. They're born with eyes, right? You kind of know that a human is born with certain things. Well, an Israelite human, right? He's going to be born with the laws in them. An Israelite human is going to be a different creature compared to any other human. It's going to be established that an Israelite is not really the same as all you other humans on the earth. We're gods. But currently we die like men. But the time's going to come where gods that don't die like men, we're going to be gods that live like gods. And how does a god live? They're immortal. We wasn't made as Israelites to be mortal. We was made to be an image of Yahweh's own immortality. Right? That's what we was made for. The first Israelite that was made for that was Yahweh Shai. And we're going to be made like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able to subdue all things unto himself. Now, all you Edomites, you claim you're Christians, right? Is that in the Bible? And if it is, where? Israelites would know where I was quoting just then. But do you know? You claim Christianity, right? You claim the Bible. Where's that from? Exactly. Y'all wouldn't know, man. Y'all wouldn't know. But Israelites would know without even having to look it up. They'd be able to quote the place that I just said that from. They'd be able to quote it. Let's get some more. Isaiah 14. And I'm going to end it in a bit. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 5. Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and unhindereth. And that's what they're not going to be able to handle. That they're going to have to now start going through things that they put other people through. And no one's going to be able to stop it from happening. And no one's going to want to neither. Because after Jacob's trouble takes place, everyone's going to know, man, these people are the most violent people on the earth. They was claiming that it was so-called black people or Mexicans, right? They was blaming everything on the immigrants. But actually, they're the most violent people on earth. Did you see what they did? Did you see what happened when they opened their war chest and brought out all their weapons of destruction? Did you see what kind of things they had? These big 7-foot robots and all these crazy laser beams and all these ray guns and all these crazy things, invisibility shields, jetpacks, all kind of crazy ass stuff that they got. Did you see what weapons they had? These drones, these robot dogs. Did you see the crazy things that they had? These robots. Did you see what they had? Did you see how much damage they caused? Did you see what they did to people? Did you see what they did? Like, I don't think you people actually understand that before you get to the kingdom, you might have to run away from a robot. Do you understand? You understand what we're telling you? Before you get into this kingdom that you people think that you're going to get into, all you so-called Christians out there, You might have to run from a robot dog in your lifetime. You might have to. You might have to run from a real dog, but a real dog will get tired. The robot dog that's going to be chasing you down, that might not get tired and might have enough battery power to chase you for as long as it needs to, man. And charge at night time or might be solar powered, man. But y'all will think, nah, that's only on Black Mirror, mate. Where do you think they got the idea from? Where do you think they got the idea? And ask yourself this, and use the internet to look it up. Do robot dogs exist? Do they? Because I know that they do. And ask yourself this, can weapons be attached to them? Because I know that they can. You people on this earth, you're not real, man. But let's carry on with this. Verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Thou art fallen from heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? O Lucifer, son of the morning. It's really not talking about some devil that climbs under the earth with a pitchfork. It's talking about the light bearer of the earth right now, which you Edomites have been. You Edomites have been the people that people have trusted to guide the earth and be the person that shows how you're supposed to live on earth, right? You're the current people that people go to. You're the golden cup that Yahweh's had in its hand, right? Babylon has been the golden cup that Yahweh's made the whole earth drunken. But it's going to go from Babylon being the whole earth. It's going to go from Babylon being the golden cup that has made the whole earth drunken to Jerusalem and the Israelites being a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that's made the whole earth sober, right? We're going to sober you people up, man. Y'all are going to know alphabeting and rainbowing is off. You're going to know stealing is wrong. And it's not going to be a society where some people can steal as long as they know the judge, but everyone else can't steal. No, we ain't going to have no hypocrisy. It's not going to be a hypocritical society like this one. Oh, I know the judge. Oh, I know the sheriff. So I'm guiltless. But he don't know the sheriff. And I did him wrong, but he don't know the sheriff. So he's guilty. That's not the society that we're talking about, man. And if you people were actually righteous, you would want to live in that society as well. But you're not righteous, though, are you? You're hypocrites and you're scumbags, man. Let me just say it like that. You're not good people, right? You wanna try and play yourself as though you're the good guys of this story on earth. No, you're the bad guys. The good guys really play defense. The bad guys wouldn't own all the media platforms on earth to be able to spew out their rhetoric. The good guys wouldn't own all the majority of the military weapons on earth, but somehow still playing the victim when they've got more ways than anybody else to take men's lives away. But somehow they're the good guys, right? Somehow they're the victims, but they own billions of trillions worth of weapons worldwide amongst the whole lot of them. But somehow they're the good guys though, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, man. There's one show, man. I can't remember what the show is called. I think it's called The Peep Show. And it was a show in the UK. And there was these two Edomites, and it was like just in like, I think they was in the military, and then the one guy looked at the other guy and said to him, he said to him, are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys? Are we the baddies? And he was like, nah, mate, we're not the baddies. We're not the bad guys. And it's like, but our caps have got skulls on them. You see? And as you Edomites, man, you are realizing that you're the bad guys, man. And spiritually, your hats have got skulls on them, man. You're not the good guys, man. You're the bad guys of this story, right? You're the bad guys. You ain't the good ones. You're the ones that are actually doing everything to everyone else. And the things that you complain that are being done to you, you're the one causing it. Oh, it's immigration, mate. They're coming over here, mate. Okay, who's bringing them over here? You are. Oh, but mate, they're coming over here, mate. Oh, but who's making them come over here, though? You are, man. You are. You're making them come over. Why are they coming over here? Oh, they're trying to steal this. Okay, why is their country destroyed? Get to the whole root, man. Don't try and just speak from it from an own micro level. Get down to the whole root, because why? If somebody could get a good life in their country where they live, they would do it. But if you're the reason why they can't get a good life in the country that they live, you can't say nothing, man. You better, if you don't want them coming over there, you better undo what damage you did to their country then. But you ain't gonna do that because you can steal their resources. Because you went over there in the first place to steal their resources, and if you know that and you understand that, and you still try and complain, then you're an asshole. Simple as that, man. But you know what? I'm gonna end the video there, man. I was just thinking about a lot of things and about how these Edomites are not gonna be able to handle not being able to tell people what to do. There, it's gonna be their worst nightmare. And if you're an Edomite that stumbled across this video, say something then. Say that it's wrong, that you don't like going around and telling everyone what to do. When you go over to other people's countries, you try and complain that they can't speak English, but then you also complain when they come over to your country and they're not speaking English, even when they're not speaking to you. You're talking about it's rude that they're not speaking English, but they're not talking to you. They might be able to speak English and you don't even know that. But if they're talking to somebody else that speaks French or speaks Arabic or speaks Urdu or speaks whatever language, if they're talking to somebody else that they feel comfortable in speaking that language with, why do you care if they're not speaking that language, man? If they're not even talking to you? You know what I mean? But anyway, Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel, Shalom.